Hi and welcome to Flash Forward Film Club Reviews. We've got Anna here, Jodeci and Liana right at the end. So we're going to be discussing a few films today, and the first one we'll be talking about is Metropolis, which was a 1927 film directed by Fritz Lang. And first, what were your first impressions of the movie, Jodeci?
First ever black and white film I've ever seen. First ever silent film I've seen. However, I did enjoy it. It was different, but the melodrama kind of acting was really something that I enjoyed. So yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely something not from our time period that we're used to, but it was cool to see
I
something.
really enjoyed the music and I thought the sets were really cool. They're just quite grand and quite interesting. So I wasn't quite as much a fan of the melodrama, but it was quite overdone. But I mean, at that time, like the movies wouldn't have had soundtracks. So it was one of the first ones to have a soundtrack. So yeah, they weren't used to.
And all the
having
actors
to
were
do that as much, yeah.
theatre actors as well, so
Yeah.
they were always taught to act big.
Yeah.
What did you think about the music?
The music, what I thought about the music was it suited what was going on it suited the acting, so yeah, it fitted in well.
Yeah, despite the lack of dialogue.
Yeah,
it had
the
to make
music
up
suited
for
it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it actually fit with the movie. So it was nice to get that kind of connection and emotion going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of the theme of class distinctions, I reckon it links with Hunger Games, how there's the upper class people in city, and then there's the districts
Yeah.
Yeah.
that work for them. Yeah, so I reckon it relates in that sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the most modern thing that we can relate it. Any other themes that you picked up from other movies? Because I noticed when I watched it, there was a musical score that was used on The Shining. Yeah, I noticed it was. I'm not sure if it's like a well-known thing, but that's what I can relate it to as soon as I heard it was The Shining. And that was every time that played, it was in like real kind of like dramatic scenes. Even in the fighting scene, I think it was, but yeah, that's what I could relate it to. Is it still like relevant today? Do you think people would still watch it and can relate to it or find
Like,
any
I
use
guess in some aspects it does relate to life today, in terms of like the working class, the lower class,
for it? Yeah.
and the ones who are just struggling to get by day. So that's like the kind of relevance, I guess, just as well as for the hours that they have to work so hard for the minimal pay they get just to feed their families.
Yeah, because in the film they have that analogy between the hands, which was the working people, and the head, which was the Joe Fredersen? Yeah, the really wealthy people. And Fredersen was the heart or the mediator. Do you think there is such a thing as a heart or mediator in our day and age between the working class and kind of the upper class?
Yeah,
Or is it
definitely.
I think the mediator today is like sort of the media, because now we've got like the government who's trying to sort of track everything that we do.
Yeah.
And we've got no control over that, so
Yeah. You'd like to think the media was doing that.
trying to sort of
Yeah.
But I guess it
unbiased.
just depends who owns the media as well,
Yeah,
because they're not going
exactly.
to broadcast things that don't benefit the
I
other
guess
hands.
like there is for some media shows that are broadcasted, the Fair Go show, John Campbell.
Yeah, I guess.
What about the people for the people?
Okay, next film we're going to talk about is World on a Wire, which was released in 1973 and directed by Rainer Werner Fassbinder. First question I should ask is, why do you think it's called World on a Wire?
I reckon it's called World on a Wire because, like, the characters in the movie were all like being controlled by, yeah, might have been a secret wire we didn't see, but yeah, like they're being controlled by a bigger controller.
By a higher force.
Yeah, yeah.
Sort of.
And so yeah, it was pretty much like a game.
Yeah, you don't really find out until later on in the movie that they're just simulations of real people.
They're like a virtual world
Yeah,
being
basically.
controlled.
Yeah. Did you like the movie?
I like the storyline of, yeah.
I would say eventually I liked it. At the beginning it was very slow.
Draggy.
It was very confusing as well.
Yeah, it was very
too.
just all the different characters, and then finally getting used to it and realizing that you were being controlled. I was like, oh, okay, it's starting to make sense now.
Yeah.
Because you don't really get the viewpoint of the people controlling the Sims until like the very end of the movie.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
It even sort of reveals herself.
Yeah.
But in saying that, that was very interesting just to see the
Yeah, because like we could, like it's buzzing because we could be like this. We
Yeah,
could,
but we
actually
don't
be Sims.
actually
Yeah, we wouldn't know. But yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
was
is.
interesting.
It is quite. It's an interesting like theory of movie aesthetic. How do you think it was?
just say like, for me the camera angles were a bit, I don't know, different a lot. Like 1 minute it's very zoomed in on his face, like he's like in the like phone booth, and then next thing you know it's like a long shot of the car driving off into the water, and it was just like,
Yeah.
it's a nice contrast just to see that he wasn't actually the one who did drive the car and tried to kill his friend.
Yeah.
But it was just a lot of the shots, some of them were irrelevant.
What about you, Anna? What do you think of? Did it remind you of any other films?
Oh yeah, like definitely reminded me a lot of The Matrix. It was, I think it's like remarkably similar.
Yeah, must have been a huge like inspiration for the Wachowskis when
I
they
think
made
the big difference between them was that in The Matrix there's like Zion and it's completely ruined, it's the end of civilization, and then when you get to like the actual world at the end of World on a Wire, it's still like the same as the world inside it.
Yeah. Shot.
The purpose of them the shots that they use, or to just give effect on the audience. I guess that's also another feature that directors kind of use to kind of like disconnect you from the audience,
Yeah.
and focus more on the message rather than what the actors.
What about the ending? Did you guys like the ending? Did you understand the ending? Did you think it was a bit
The ending was my
dragged
highlight.
out?
Yeah. I'd say it was my highlight. It actually put all the pieces together. Like, I was confused quite a lot. It was dragging through the beginning, and then once the end came, it was just like, oh, okay, so this is who Stella is, and this is who, yeah.
And then
The next film we're going to be talking about is Blade Runner, which was made in 1982 by the infamous Ridley Scott, who also directed movies such as Gladiator. What did you think about how he directed the film? Was it reminiscent of other things you've seen?
Well, yeah.
Was it
I found
typical
it-
Ridley Scott?
Yeah. I found it really similar to his other films he's produced, and just being able to relate his work and his camera angles and his use of what he does into his other pieces.
like the big wide shots of
Yeah.
of the settings.
Yeah, and he likes
to an
big
extent.
settings, eh? Did you think it was slow? Like, do you think the movie dragged a bit in certain areas, or do you think every scene was like relevant?
I thought it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, like all of the scenes like added up to the big finale of
Yeah.
the
Even
big
the ending
finale.
was quite long, I thought. Like a conclusion about whether he's a replicant or not.
Yes.
It was a lot of
Yes.
a lot of information to take in.
Yeah. Especially when that guy at the end comes and chucks his badge and he's like,
What does he say?
But then again, nobody ever really.
Yeah, ever really knows. Do you think that was
Lives.
a
Yeah,
oh yeah?
really
Was it
lives.
like a reference to the Harrison Ford character, or was that for the Rachel character?
Yeah,
Leaves a lot of questions.
it does. It does. But I still think that he was a replicant.
Oh, okay. Because there is that one scene where he's doing the test on Rachel and she asks him if he's ever done the test on himself and he doesn't reply.
Yeah.
So it does beg a few questions. Is there any way that we could relate that movie to perhaps our situations are in our day and age? Because it's set in, when's it set in? 2019, which is like 4 years away.
The setting of Blade Runner, it kind of reminded me of a rundown New York with the big buildings and the screens on the buildings.
Because that was the first cyberpunk film that we saw.
Quite enjoyed the film. Out of the ones that we've watched, more for the action side. It was quite interesting. And artificial intelligence and how eventually they were trying to kill them off because
They're afraid of what
they're afraid that they will be dominant. Yeah.
But they're trying to convince everybody that they felt emotion as well.
Yeah.
By
I mean, we're in 2015, although it's not happening right now. We're slowly starting to see even our community and society adapt to technology.
yeah.
Like, no one these days that I know doesn't have
Smartphone.
a smartphone.
Yeah.
So could we say that now that it's 2015 and the movie was set for 2019, are we like similar? Could we say that?
I wouldn't say that we're going to be there right away, but you could say that we're slowly heading towards that technological kind of direction.
Yeah.
We are slowly making that adaptation to a more technological world, or a new world as
Yeah.
people are calling it these days.
And with all the technology and stuff, we're getting so used to having everything instantly that we don't feel our emotions as like
Yeah.
deeply or as much. And
No.
like that's sort of like when you talk about the
Like,
replicants and
yeah,
if he is a
could-
replicant,
yes.
that's sort of how I
That
can see that he could be.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I mean,
That is actually.
Like maybe he wasn't, but just due to circumstances
Yeah.
and how his environment, that it
It's
kind of
like-
just dulls
yeah.
it down
Yeah.
a bit, like
Yeah,
our
exactly.
human
it's
instinct.
Mm.
The last film we're going to be talking about is Four-Eyed Monsters, which is part of the new cinema area that we're looking at. Two main characters, Aaron and Susan. I guess it's kind of about them falling in love and having a relationship. A pretty weird relationship. What did you guys think about the whole movie in general?
the whole movie. It was probably so interesting, like from the beginning, like it's just so relevant how he messaged so many girls, I think almost 100, and only one person replied.
Yeah.
Sort of like a catfish.
Yeah, kind of.
He was like a catfish, and like he got one reply, and the first thing was, "Can I see like a hot pic of you?"
And
talk
that
to
is
that
so
person.
nowadays, eh?
Yeah.
That's so
But,
what
like,
happens.
Just because he saw his flatmate and how his flatmate would come home with like a different girl every night, he was kind of starting to feel lost. Like he needed some love in his life, and so for him to reach out like that and to think that, oh yeah, I need to target girls by being like my flatmate, like a jerk.
It's the wrong.
It was the wrong approach, but eventually got pushed in the right direction by one girl.
There's that part where they kind of both go into their like love life. Because there's that part where there's those girls talking about like their sexual encounters with Aaron.
Yeah.
And then there were like towards the end there was Susan's ex-boyfriends and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How do you think, like, just looking based on that past, do you think it really shows with their relationship to each other? Like, because she used to have a real abusive boyfriend,
Yeah.
and then he kind of just really had, like, he seemed like a sweet guy, but he would only have like one night stands with girls.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
he couldn't really maintain a relationship.
you could kind of tell that she had had enough though. Like, she was sick of being told what to do and being held down. And she just wanted to do things her way and be like loved for who she was.
Yeah, I
Like
guess so.
with the writing the notes to each other. She had enough of that. She wanted to connect with him through like
more personal.
more personal connection, talking, getting to know each other.
So the paper was kind of like a barrier
Yeah.
after a while. Yeah, like
Yeah.
it was cute to start off with, but then it was just too much. What do you think of the ending?
That was totally weird, like how they just start talking about how they were making film and
Yeah, like you didn't know
it was
where the
very
film
strange.
ended.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like they
Yeah.
just merged reality with, I guess it's another kind of reality.
Mm.
Yeah, it was just confusing.
Could it reflect relationships with people in this day and age?
Oh,
Like,
definitely.
Is that how people are
Yeah.
now?
Yeah, well, like if you compare it to the Catfish show itself,
Yeah.
definitely there's always people trying to date people online, and when they come to meeting them, some end up forever or getting married.
Mm.
It's their actual true love, and then for some it's like, say a guy messaged a girl, and the girl's replying, and yep, all along it wasn't actually who she thought it was. It was like some old guy who
Some
just
lady.
wanted fun.
That would be like the main way to hook up nowadays, eh?
Yeah,
You're
Like
Online.
all online.
Do you think it's
just-
more effective than
It's
meeting
sad
people in real life?
because it's just
It's
sad
sad.
because whatever happened to the days where you can go out there and meet your soulmate, and now it's by the click of a button.
exactly.
It seems
Even-
easier actually.
Or even
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
in teenagers, intermediate kids,
Yeah,
like even
primary.
starting to adapt to what they see their older brothers and sisters
Mm.
doing. They're like, ooh, I'm gonna find me a boyfriend. That's cool.
What did you guys think of the actual how they shot the film? Do you think it was creative? Like even they have like
Yeah.
little drawn scenes.
It was
like
quite-
it was
it was
pretty
really
Yeah,
cool.
cool.
it was
Yeah.
creative.
And like imaginary, like him fantasizing about women and stuff.
No, it's just a film based on reality for me. That's what I thought it was.
Yes.
And it was just
It was
easy to connect with, I felt. Like, because I've seen it happen.
It's reality now. Sadly, the reality.
What do you think the message is, Anna?
I think the message is like that we're sort of slowly losing who we are through technology. Like the reason Susan wants Aaron to stop writing notes is that so she can find out who he actually is, not just who he writes he is.
Says he.
Yeah,
So
he wants to show her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she wants to be herself as well. Like she can't just be her whole personality in a note.
Yeah.
So, and it's like it's a lot like real life now, like with text messaging and I don't know, Facebook and stuff, I guess. So yeah, it's like who we are online is a lot different to who we can be in real life.
So through all these films that we've been talking about, do you think the overall theme is technology?
Yes.
Just
Just like the effects of technology. There's the good versus bad, and then
Yeah.
because in all the like futuristic dystopian things we've been watching, that is kind of the
yeah,
the constant in each film is the
from
technology.
beginning to end.
Yeah. And that
And the
like
effects of it.
Yeah,
and just it being independent from us
yeah.
and affecting how we associate with other people and have relationships.
Being its own thing compared to us, and how it's drawing us in to make us kind of actual individuals rather than a social collective group.
Like the benefits and kind of the bad things about it as
Yes.
well. Because it is pretty easy. So that wraps up our film club analysis. I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching.
Bye.